nothing else would matter in the world today.
Is it recording now? Do you want me to talk about Silicon Valley and some of the clients I used to cut?
Sure, yeah.
Well, you know, Hewlett Packard started in this town, and we used to cut some of the old HP instrument guys that were on Page Mill Road there. A lot of Stanford professors. In fact, my shame is, I didn't know this till about 3 years ago. I was talking to a computer science teacher, and I told him I used to cut John McCarthy's hair.
Oh, really?
He's a computer science professor. He died 5 years ago, but he's the guy that invented or coined artificial intelligence.
Oh, wow.
So he's a pretty famous guy. I've always been interested in finance and money.
Yeah?
So in 1987, I got my stockbroker's license, and I've been doing that on the side, sort of. I've helped people. Market's done good to me. I've done really well.
Oh, good.
And I've helped a few people. There was an article in the New York Times. Barber, New York, 107.
Wow.
He's still cutting hair. And he's still steady. And the guy that was interviewing him, sitting in his chair, he says, yeah, I wouldn't have anybody else cut my hair. He's 107 years old. That's something, huh? I don't know if I'll make 107, but I'm shooting for at least 80.
Been here, what, like 50 years now?
I have in town, not in this location, but
You start off with your dad? How did that? Okay.
I started over on California Avenue in 1967. Went to Vietnam 2 years, came back, worked from 1969 to 1997 over there with my father, and then moved here. Been here ever since. He was with me for a while, but then he died in 2009.
Okay.
94 years old, so he did okay.
What's the thrust of the story? That little businesses are being forced out?
That could be one of the
Well,
stories.
that's the story in San Jose. In Berkeley, it said that all the little mom and pops in San Jose can't afford the rent. You heard of Ricky's Hidehouse?
Yes.
John Ricky, he used to have a revolving sign goes around, on El Camino. And it was a nice sign. He just liked to have a revolving sign. And the city of Palo Alto, they had a thing up their butt. They didn't want to have any neon signs or revolving signs in the city of Palo Alto. They didn't want to make it look like Las Vegas, So they sent all the barbers in town letters. Barber poles must cease. They can't go around anymore. And there was such a uproar among the barbers and even the clients. They said, "What the hell? Why can't a barber pole go around?" They took it a little too far. Finally, they had to redo it. It was an ordinance that all barber poles must stop. They're going to go down to the other shop. In fact, they're delivering them today. $250 a piece.
Wow.
But those chairs are made by Danish guy. They're well made.
How long have you had those chairs?
Since 1959. One of my clients, he's about 97 now. He got shot down over Germany, and when he landed in this field, some young kids picked him up, and they says, "Son, for you the war's over." I guess it was over for him. He got put in a concentration camp. I enjoy it. I could retire and just move. I've got a couple of houses I could just move. But, I kind of like the area here.
Would you move out of it?
I don't want to. I wouldn't. But yeah, it's tempting to. A lot of people do sell their houses and move.
Yeah.
But where to? Florida? Arizona? Where do you want to go? My father, when he started cutting hair in 1939, they did more shaves. Barbers did shaves. Because that was before World War II. And they didn't have any safety razors in those days. So a lot of businessmen, bankers, and they'd come into town, and in the morning they'd get a shave before they get to work. Hot shave. You've heard of the whole 50-cent haircut and shave and haircut, 2 bits. I went to high school, graduated, went to college for a while, and then the Vietnam War was coming on, and then I didn't want to. He says, "You stay in college, stay in school." And I should have probably taken his advice, but I just want to be a secure job. And I think I want to be a barber. And he said, "Well, you go down to San Jose and work your butt off then." So that's what I did. I went down to San Jose Barber College back in the 60s on Market Street in San Jose. I'd open up the door in the morning. There'd be guys, bums laying in front of the door, because most barber colleges in San Francisco or San Jose or any big city were in the low, where the homeless, where the the drinkers guys, you know. They have to have somebody to cut their hair. They get the winos and the street people, you know. They couldn't afford a haircut, so they get 50 cents or $1, you know. And I'll never forget Old Man Holmes, who ran the barber college. Old Man Holmes, he was quite a ladies' man, and he liked to hit the sauce. And there was a famous restaurant on the corner of Market and Alameda in San Jose. So he'd go down there, take his students down there, a lot of girls, ladies, take them down to the bar. And then he'd come back an hour later. And one day he walked down the middle of, and this barber, he was trying to shave this guy. And he was down there like this. And he was getting real close, you know. And Old Man Holmes says, "Barber, what are you gonna do? Make love to that guy or give him a shave?" He says, "Let me have that razor." He took the razor from the barber and he went, he says, "That's how you shave a man." I'll never forget. And he probably was, maybe the alcohol made him steady his nerves, I don't know. But, you know, I thought, this guy's gonna, you know, he's been drinking and he's gonna shave this guy. He did.
Video for their websites or for promote things.
Hey, that's what I needed to get a website up. Can you help me on that?
Sure.
Huh?
Yeah, it's pretty easy. I've made.
Can you make it up for me sometime? Come in and help me with a website?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
What do I do? Because you know, all the young people now, they come to town, they get on their phones and say dentist, pizza place, where they want, they all go on the phones, you know. And if you don't have a website, I just pop in and it's going to take about a half hour, 45 minutes to do it.
I already paid my rent.
There's a lot of history on that California Avenue here. I don't know what else we'd like to talk about. This town has been an interesting town to be in.
Nothing else would matter in the world today. We could go on loving in the same